Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 18th anniversary Remembrance ceremony of September 11th. At this particular time, we get ready to start our program. We're going to have Pastor Kirk Culpepper. He is the minister of St. Mark United Methodist Church to deliver the prayer.
Let us pray. O God, our hope and refuge, in our distress we come quickly to you. Shock and horror of that tragic day have subsided and is almost forgotten by those who lived through it. The shock has been replaced now with an emptiness, a longing for an innocence lost. We come remembering those who lost their lives in New York at the Twin Towers, Virginia and Washington, D.C., and at the Pentagon, along with the heroes in Pennsylvania, who crashed their plane rather than let more innocents be harmed. We are mindful of the sacrifice of public servants who demonstrated the greatest love of all by laying down their lives for friends. 80 EMTs and paramedics, 60 police officers, 343 firefighters died, along with the 2,997 other victims of that horrible day. Many who initially survived continue to die from the work they performed on that day. We commit their souls to you, our eternal care, and celebrate their gifts to a fallen humanity. We come remembering and we come in hope not in ourselves, but in you. As foundations we once thought secure have been shaken, we are reminded of what an illusion security in life is, except for the security that you, God, give us. In commemorating this tragedy, we give you thanks for your presence in our time of need, and we seek to worship you in spirit and in truth, our guide and our guardian. Amen. Please stand for the posting of the colors.
Detail. Hope. Let. Face. Present. Cups.
Good afternoon. I'm John Rowe, Mayor of the City of Portsmouth, and thank you for coming. I want to recognize some people who are in the audience. Councilwoman Elizabeth Simmons, if you'll stand or raise your hand. Councilman Nate Clark and his wife are here. Councilman Shannon Glover, and our city manager, Dr. Lydia Patton, if you would stand, please. Well, good afternoon again. And thank you, Tidewater Concert Band, for participating in this very solemn ceremony. And it's only fitting that we start this ceremony with both a prayer and our national anthem. Today marks the 18th anniversary of the terrorist attack that took place on the United States of America on September the 11th, 2001. It's really hard to process that it's been almost 2 decades since that took place. And once again, we're here. We join in solidarity to remember those attacks that took more than 3,000 lives and still taking lives. The attacks that took place on that very terrible day. Our way of life and our sense of freedom was attacked deliberately on that day. And ceremonies like this have taken place all throughout our country today on the very hour, the very minute that those attacks took place. When those planes hit both the North and South Towers, when the plane hit the Pentagon, and when the plane went down in that field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And everybody that was born before 2001 remembers what they were doing that day. Remembers the moment that you heard about the attack, that your eyes got glued to the television or your ears could not leave the radio. And it changed us. It changed us. It changed our sense of both freedom and security. We join our fellow countrymen today in taking this opportunity to remember that event and what it means to us today. We are a changed people. We are a changed country. And for all Americans, for all times, the phrase 9/11 now has a new meaning. It has the meaning of what we are about at this ceremony. It has a meaning about our future. It has a meaning about how we feel towards each other. These solemn ceremonies are more than just a remembrance of the past. We're not just remembering what happened on that day. It's a tribute. It's a tribute to those who lost their lives. It's a tribute to those who gave their life for their brother, for their sister, for their neighbor. It's for a tribute for those who risked their lives to save others. But most importantly, it's a declaration that we shall never forget what happened on that day, and forget those lives that were lost. Today we remember what we learned about ourselves and our nation. We remember the actions of people, the actions of just ordinary people like you and I, responding to a sense of duty in the face of real danger, in the face of a situation that could take their lives. We remember the first responders that rushed into the buildings and were working to save lives even as those buildings collapsed in a huge cloud of dust. We remember the New York firefighters searching tirelessly the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day for the lives, for the bodies of those who were lost. We remember the courage of those people on that plane who decided to change that plane's direction and took control of that plane so that it would not become another weapon. We have a lot to remember, but most importantly, we need to remember that people responded to each other, that people showed love, that people showed that they love their neighbor as much as they love themselves. And this is what we need to emulate. We need to take that as a lesson, to love our neighbor, like we love ourselves, to be willing to risk our lives for our neighbor, and we need to learn to live in harmony. Ceremonies like this remind us of that duty, our duty to each other and our duty to our country. Those planes may have shaken the foundation of big buildings, but they did not shake the foundation of the United States of America. They did not shake the foundation of who we are as a people. So please join me in just a moment of silence as we remember those who died on that day and who are still dying as a result of that. And let's declare that we should never forget. Please, if you'll join me with the silence. Thank you. I'm going to say that's a sound of freedom, right? Yes. Enjoy the sound of freedom. And now, let this be our request that God will continue to bless our wonderful city, the city of Portsmouth, that God will continue to bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that God will continue to bless our great nation, the United States of America. Thank you. We have Andrew Lawrence, who will do a musical tribute to Amazing Grace. Tidewater Concert Band will now play another one of my favorite songs, America the Beautiful. Let's give the Tidewater Concert Band a round of applause. And before we conclude, I think I saw Vice Mayor Lisa Lucas-Burke come in. Is she here? There you are. Yes, thank you. This concludes our ceremony. Please feel free to remain and speak to each other and speak about our remembrance of that day. Thank you again for coming. God bless you all.